Usually at this point you pay her to sing the song you're playing. But in this case, you'll forego that.
There's two types of artists in this world. Those who stumble into it, and those who seem like they were born for it.
Everyone knew that Dylan was gonna go into singing. And then by the time he kind of started doing his own thing and saying like he wanted to come to the studio, I would say he was wired different from the beginning.
He's a special kid. Yeah, he's just special.
I think I started to notice Dylan's love for music and for performing as early as 4 years old.
I guess my whole life he's always been singing.
He always was singing. In the car, in the shower, all the time. In the house, you always heard Dylan singing all the time.
But behind every great artist is a story. And I knew that this one had to be told before the whole world knows his name. This story begins here in Toronto, a city that shaped his dreams, with a family that nurtured his passion and a community that inspired his sound. This is Dylan's story, told through his voice, the people who know him best, and mine. In 2020, Dylan Sinclair dropped his debut album, Proverb, a contemporary blend of R&B, gospel, and soul that shot him to notoriety, earning him his first Juno Award nomination. And in the span of just 4 years, he's gone from an up-and-comer to one of Canada's fastest rising stars.
Came here a lot. Many reasons. I came here a lot growing up. This was like a nice hub to be at on like a Sunday with my family.
Do you have like a favorite spot?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, organic press.
So when did you find out that you really wanted to be an artist? Because I feel like there's a difference between, oh, I like music, I like to sing, and like I actually want to do music, you know?
That was around high school time when you start to think about what you want to do for real. Like you start thinking about your career. I just knew I didn't want to do the 9-to-5 like office job thing, and it just.
You never had like, I want to be a doctor.
Nope.
Like you never had those dreams.
Maybe in like grade 8, I wanted to do stats for the NBA. Yeah, so I wanted to hoop, but there was always that conversation with my dad of like, oh, you don't want to be like a little fish in a big pond.
When he was in high school, he was obsessed with basketball.
He said that, yeah.
And he thought he was going to the NBA. So I said, Dylan, if you want to go to the NBA, you have to work at it. Like these guys are working at it every day. So I remember, I think it was grade 8 going into grade 9, he was going to the park every single day, working on drills by himself. And then what happened was, he was good, but he was not the best, right? Like he made the team and whatnot, but then he realized, maybe this isn't the career for me. And then he started to shift his focus to music. And that's the thing with Dylan. He's so focused that he puts all of his efforts in it. And I remember the day when he told us he was going to drop out of school. His whole thing was, well, if I'm going to fail, I'm going to at least fail doing it to the best of my ability.
I remember just writing in my room and like recording in my room just on my phone to beats. Like it would be like YouTube on my laptop, and then my voice memos, and then I just sing like that. I was 15 when I first started coming through the Year Studio.
15 years old, and I remember, he was already a tall kid, and he had like an afro that was like this tall. Dylan came in already with a team, like people. He already had an idea with different singers. He had like designer friends. He had like website friends, photographers. So like, and it just showed like, when I was talking to other friends, I'm like, wow, I would say he was wired different from the beginning.
Apart from his obvious talent, I think there's other reasons why Dylan's music feels so refined. Firstly, he grew up surrounded by a family of musicians. And secondly, he grew up in church. Now with the second point, some people might wonder, why does that even matter? But think about it. Some of the greatest artists ever started honing their talents in church. Think Whitney Houston, Usher, Marvin Gaye, Brandy. What do these talented singers all have in common? Church.
He was always around music, right? Like our families were always singing, so it wasn't a surprise, right? Because we were always singing. He was performing in church from a young age, so we knew he had the talent, and we knew he liked the stage. Like he was singing the solo parts very early on as a child. Did I think he would make a career out of it? No, I just thought he liked to sing.
I think I started to notice Dylan's love for music and for performing as early as 4 years old. Wow. So, you know, I would, we'd be in a church setting, I would be playing music for him. He was part of a choir, a children's choir, and they would put him as a soloist. And so, you know, so the roots and the origins were very early from my perspective, and then I saw more of the evolution of the talent once he was about 10 or 11 years old, and then he was able to do what adults were doing.
I mean, I have some very talented people in my family. So like hearing my dad sing, he would sing Friday nights before church. Yeah, like he sang in church almost every weekend, and like every Friday I would hear him just singing in the shower or whatever, warming up, practicing his songs, and that was always nice because he to this day I'm like, I want to sing like you. He's crazy. I mean, I'm big on like chords, harmonies. Gospel albums are very dynamic albums too, so like different paces. So I've always been inspired by like whenever I put a project together, doing like including all that. Yeah.
There were young kids that I saw coming up with Dylan in church and that he went to camp with, and they would perform while at camp, you know, and they had productions that I think some of them are on the internet from when they were very young. And so I said to him, these guys are highly skilled. They were also little kids in the congregation, and I said, why don't you get one of them to play for you? And the rest is history, because they were all well received. They had time to sit with each other and learn together and to produce together. And so I think that was the transition from night until day.
When I met Dylan, I remember actually seeing your great-grandfather when he passed away, and I heard you sing at his funeral. And I think that was the first time I actually got to hear you really sing. You know, and always seen you at family jams, but never actually realized that you sang.
That was when peace like a river attended my way. Yeah, I remember that.
Did you know from a child that Dylan was gonna make music? Did you see that in him?
Yes, very early. Because I don't know exactly his age. Probably 5, 6, 7. He's already singing, you know, like. And then when Michael Jackson's song comes on, he sings that one just like crazy. And sometimes we, like, because we go to church. And sometimes I just tell him, you want to sing, do it with me. And I just play the chords and I said, this is how it sounds. And he doesn't even read the words and so on. Okay, we'll sing it this way. And the next day we actually sang in front of the church
Wow.
And it was good, you know. Right. He can pick up things just like that.
Quickly.
Quick.
When did you first notice his musical talents?
At the age of 3. At the age of 3, because he loves to sing and sing. And then in the church, you know, you asked him to sing, he would go and sing. And so he developed that, you know, showmanship on stage. He can sing and this and that. And he built that confidence in himself by being, he sang with his grandfather, he sang with his father, he sang with his sister Jada, but when they did the first duet, he started the song, right? And then Jada sang, and then came again, and the second time around, Jada said, she just looked at Dylan, and then Dylan continued. So he was able to ad-lib to it, just, you know, so he was really good, yeah.
Now, it's hard to picture modern R&B without the foundation Toronto laid. From The Weeknd to Party Next Door to artists like Daniel Caesar, Toronto brought a sound that was darker, moodier, and more atmospheric, almost like the Quiet Storm sound reimagined. And Dylan Sinclair is a part of that legacy. But what I love is that he didn't just copy the blueprint that these artists laid. He's brought something new, something fresh, something entirely his own, especially with his latest album, For the Boy in Me.
Essentially what felt like was happening as I was making the album was, as you know, as men, there's kind of the encouragement to not really be vulnerable and share your feelings, but I was kind of like, forget all that. It's important to just tell it like it is sometimes.
In fact, I don't know if he's told you this, but even Daniel Caesar's father and I, we sang in the same group. Well, we sang in the same group long before the boys were born, I believe. And so, you know, the interesting thing about that is he was always surrounded by music. He was always, and I was always very, I wouldn't say critical, but I would be able to break down and analyze music and say to him, oh, this is what makes this artist successful. These kind of hooks, these kinds of attention to detail. And so it's something that he's been hearing his entire life. I just didn't know that that it would be absorbed so much by someone, such a young child, as it were. And so, you know, I'm glad that Dylan is open to not criticism necessarily, but direction. And he listens to a lot of the greats, Stevie Wonder, like people from from my age and my day, Stevie Wonder and Fred Hammond, the gospel, the R&B, the different artists. I know he likes Music Soul Child, people like this.
Ladies.
Yes, absolutely. And so he's able to take the best of everything and try to employ it into his own style. Yeah.
Earliest memory, like really making music together, how did that feel for the first time with them?
Him recording and stuff wasn't really that big of a deal. It was more so the writing part. He was kind of caged a little bit. Like he was worried about his parents hearing him say certain things, or because we had to like try to get him a bit more comfortable to realize like, yo, this is your art. Like you gotta.
How did you navigate that? Like, was it like talking or just like, how did you navigate that experience with him?
I feel like it's just patience. Like I know he's very much like, he's gonna do what he's gonna do regardless. Mm-hmm. So I kind of approached it with patience. I try to force too much. I just like kind of presented the idea like, yo, this is what I think you should do, and I knew like it would grow. Like I knew it wasn't gonna be like a one project type of thing. That's why, I'm so happy that people are saying like there's so much growth in the album, because I knew like it'd be a process for him to take his time and like start to open up. It feels like the first year of the creation was kind of curation a little bit. Like he would send playlists around. He would kind of like, he's big on like kind of discovery, whether it's in the past or you know, what's happening now, it's like he did a lot of digging and like just music that nobody would think he would be listening to. So he would like often share a lot of music. It was a lot of hip hop, a lot of, you know, it could be jazz, it could be just whatever piqued his interest at that time.
There's a popular saying that goes, "It takes a village." And I could not think of a better way to describe Dylan's journey so far. One of the highlights of this documentary was sitting down for dinner with his family and getting to meet all the people who were a part of his story. And it was in those moments that I realized that it wasn't just about his talent. It was also about community, the people who have always had his back.
I don't know if we will.
Family.
I'll be back.
This is my baby sister and my baby cousin.
I'm not her baby cousin. This is my baby cousin.
He's just so, he's loving. Yeah. And he's my only grandson, so I always say he's my favorite grandson. But he was really good as a little child.
A lot of the times people will say, oh, you know, Dylan's so talented. Yeah, absolutely, Dylan is talented, but it takes a team to, you know, bring him to where he is right now and, you know, help him go to where he's going. So I truly believe it's not an individual sport, even though he might be the front face of it and the voice of it, but there's a whole team behind him.
Absolutely.
Including his dad and I, and, you know, we're just here. We're still his parents that tell him to clean his room and call me. You know, it's still the normal stuff. Yeah.
That's right.
I think people trusted him on his team, and
Which
all
was
the other huge.
It's huge. I feel like that's
Honestly,
what
for
allowed
a
me to.
15-year-old, that's a lot of trust. That's cool, actually.
But that's where the magic is in this whole thing. Like, even as a growing artist, you just channel your 15-year-old self.
That's true.
That's how it works. Like, the youth is where the magic is, in my opinion. So
Facts.
you knew that, and you gave me the space to be an artist, not a singer. Like, you know, like I was able to be an artist and express myself, and I've been able to refine my craft over the years. But yeah, even though like the music, I wasn't like the best at what I did or anything, but you just gave me the space to.
And I think what you had was, not a lot of people have, is a vision, especially at that young, to kind of say, you know what you want for what song, to what placement, and honestly, as much as I say that, and it's easy to say, yeah, you had a vision, there's not a lot of people that can do that.
Right.
You know, like I worked with people that are in their, you know, easily their 20s, and like have a second album in, and they're still trying to figure it out. And I think you're figuring it out as you go, but at least you're coming with a body of work, you know?
Yeah. In the church, like I was given the space to, you know, like we'd do praise and worship, and I'd lead the young adults or like the teens to the youth to a praise and worship session. But like there's still limits to what you can really do in that space, and this was just like I was free. I can, you know, express myself freely. I can add visuals to what I'm doing, and a lot of my friends are so talented and just down to work. So from jump, we were cooking. With that came their mentorship. Like that was huge. From their space to their expertise in recording, producing, and mixing, and then my friends that were just like down to. Like just have it was fun. It wasn't. We weren't even working for real.
It didn't seem like work. What's your favorite thing about this current version of Dylan?
I'd say decisive. Yeah, he's like.
That's so valid because I used to be very indecisive. I think
he's
tired of it.
No, it's not even like because I knew this time would come where you'd be more decisive. It's just a process. Like it can be annoying at times for sure, but it's like when you get there, it's like now, you know, that's why I think we're all so excited about. This period because, like, yes, this album is out. We're so excited about it, but I'm really excited to see what happens next because now it feels like everything's clicking. You know, he knows what he wants to hear. He knows what he wants to see. You know, he's like super hands-on when it comes to pretty much everything. Like there's barely anything that comes out that he hasn't had his eye on, that we haven't ran by him, and he's given his notes and all these things like that. So when you're dealing with something like that, for them to be decisive is like the best thing you could possibly have.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, so I think everything is gonna move quicker. It's gonna move just more
smoothly.
Yeah. And overall, it's gonna be like more him. That's what I feel like every artist should strive for, to be like more of themselves, more decisive.
The music industry spends so much time telling artists who they should be, forcing them into a mold that rarely fits. There's something truly special about watching someone from here make their mark, because Canadian voices like Dylan's don't always get the spotlight. But when they do, they remind us of the beauty and the range of talent that's in this country. Dylan's journey feels like a true coming-of-age moment, not just for him, but for the music scene he's a part of. And I'm truly grateful to be able to tell his story.
Sometimes I feel like I have nothing to prove, but then there's something to prove, and it's not to the people necessarily, it's definitely to myself. I feel more excited about music than I ever have. I've been like more honest with myself. Now it's like real life, like I'm really doing this. I didn't always feel like that before. I understand how to navigate this, not feeling special within my industry or anything like that. Like I don't feel like I'm like God's gift to music or anything like that. But that's kind of the realization that I've had, that it's like I'm ready to work really hard to
get to where I want to be.
to do bigger stages and to make music that really does something for people.
If 20 years from now and then he becomes very successful, there's only one word I'm gonna tell him, is just continue to be humble.
Yeah, pretty much. Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget the folks, the divine power that got you to where you are. Give honor and glory to not just those folks, but to God himself.
Because it's a lot of work to put an album together, and I'm excited for what comes after.